Good morning. Good morning. Good day, everyone tuning in. Welcome to Health Check, where you can stop, take a minute, check in on you. I pray that you're having an awesome day today. It is a beautiful day to be in the land of the living. Health Check, as you know, is sponsored by Kingdom Health Connections, where Kingdom Health Connections is a health promotional resource center, where it's a resource for health information, health education, health promotion to as well, in which it encourages you on your lifestyle of healing, health, and wellness. So health, wellness, and healing for you and the entire family, because as you get it, you can also train your children in it, the generations to come in it as well. I pray that you are all blessed today. As you know, in the month of January here on Health Check, the focus is on soul detox, and talking about the physiological implications of how the detoxing of the soul actually brings about the physiological benefits that are necessary for that lifestyle of health, of wellness, and healing. And it also highlights those different soul toxicities or soul disorders that we may have that can negatively impact our bodies physiologically. So in the month of January, it's all about building that connection, building that relationship between the two. And as you know, last night or yesterday, if you didn't catch it, catch the replay. Soul Detox 2023. It's all about defense mechanisms this month and how these defense mechanisms can impact our physiological responses in our bodies. Last night, the discussion really was about how our emotions, how it's important to express our emotions, how emotions are a part of the natural order in our lives. So, the emotions are necessary, they're important. But even more important, what I gathered from what was said by Apostle Dr. Susan Howard was that the more we give voice to our emotions, whether it's by ourselves or with an individual, to really express what's going on with us, the more liberating that is. The more liberating it is for us. And when we do that, when it's liberating for our physical body, our body is less likely to be under physiological stress. So let's delve in. Today's topic, as you can see, is emotional health and how it is important. And I really want to give reference to emotional repression and suppression. So, she mentioned how, sometimes we don't really key into our emotions and we can repress them, which is where we unconsciously really avoid and dismiss our emotions, or we can suppress them where we consciously avoid and we just disregard our emotions. And it allows us, whether it's suppression or repression, to really not process our emotions. So if you're a visual learner like myself and you like visual aids, look at this. Essentially, we are stopping ourselves from really expressing and processing what we are feeling, what we are experiencing. We don't give voice to it. We don't give volume to it. We suppress it. We downregulate it. We dismiss it. We, say that it's not important when it really is important. Our emotions are a part of our natural order for our soul, which then impacts our physical bodies as well. That's a part of our holistic being. We need our emotions to enhance our physical, to enhance our experiences that we go through in life. So, the encouragement on last night was really be present in your body as well as your mind, because it's vital to us being our authentic self as well. I found it very interesting because while I was even preparing for today, I had actually found an article by a psychologist, Timothy Legg, and he really talked about this emotional repression and this emotional suppression. And it was very interesting because the title of the article was Let It Out. Let It Out. So I thought it was very interesting. Those who have been on the Soul Detox 2023 journey, you know that's the theme song, Let It Out. And the name of this article was Let It Out by Dr. Timothy Legg, a psychologist. And he really talked about how emotionally repressing and suppressing impacts us physiologically and what are the common signs and symptoms of this in our lives. He mentioned that children or even us as adults, we are more likely to express our emotions and engage and give voice to our emotions when we were brought up in an environment where our caregivers expressed their emotions. So it was welcome. It was a natural thing in the home, as opposed to being in an environment where it is not encouraged to express your emotions. So you're more likely to repress as well as suppress when you were in an environment growing up where your caregivers did not express themselves. It was like taboo to express their emotions. And as a result, oftentimes those emotions were seen as negative. So those emotions such as anger, frustration, sadness, fear, disappointment. You might have heard in the home during those times, just calm down. Just you were taught to suppress. It was a learned behavior to suppress. Just calm down. It's not that serious. You're overreacting. There's no reason to really be sad. There's no reason to cry. Just wipe your tears. Just go play. Just go do something else. And we were really taught, it was a learned behavior to suppress those emotions. You felt disappointed, you felt sad, you felt fearful, but you weren't encouraged or you didn't put voice to those emotions at all. So it then becomes this learned behavior of emotional suppression and emotional repression. And what then now can happen in our physiological bodies as a result of this deep repression as well as suppression. One thing that can happen is that we have that difficulty, as was mentioned on last night, difficulty really acknowledging and identifying that emotion. So, it's there. We don't know what to call it. We don't know what to say about it. We didn't feel like we had permission to say anything about it. So we have this difficulty expressing it. And in this article, he had mentioned that oftentimes there's a lack of awareness of that even being there. So there's this correlation with feeling numb, with feeling dull, with not being connected, not being able to engage in relationships and not being able to engage in different activities. It's just this constant feeling of feeling numb and dull. So there are so many physiological impacts as a result of suppressing emotionally or repressing emotionally, whether that's conscious or unconscious. That's that activity where we are avoiding, negating, tucking away, pushing away our emotions and what we are feeling. So therefore, we don't process what we're feeling. And you can only imagine, we've probably experienced it. I know I've experienced it, the physiological impacts of suppressing and repressing our emotions. Our immune system is weakened as a result. So that's one of the things that can happen. And there's it's when we suppress and repress our emotions, it's an autoimmune a pathway that happens. So it's very autoimmune in nature. And that when you think of an autoimmune condition, the autoimmune condition, so what's natural, the natural order in our body, what's natural in our bodies is now looked at by our immune system as foreign. If you know anything about the immune system is there to protect the body, fight for the body, and get rid of any form of pathogen, virus, any form of bacteria. So it's autoimmune in nature in that the natural order, so that natural emotion that we're feeling, now we're attacking it and saying it doesn't need to be there. We're repressing it, we're suppressing it. And as a result, it's autoimmune in nature. We're now attacking the natural order in our body. And it's been linked to autoimmune conditions as well. So could healing to autoimmune conditions and anything that relates to it. Any autoimmune conditions, you think of type 1 diabetes, you think of Hashimoto's thyroiditis, you think of psoriasis, you think of rheumatoid arthritis. Could us no longer emotionally suppressing and repressing, could that bring forth the physiological healing that needs to happen in our bodies? Oh, this is so interesting. I love it. When she said that, that's what came to mind. But it weakens our immune system, so we're more likely to get sick as a result. It causes GI disorders and digestive problems. So you think about irritable bowel syndrome, whether it's diarrhea or constipation in nature. You might have heard the term leaky gut syndrome. Literally, the protective barrier in the gut, because of this autoimmune response, causes the breakdown to that protective barrier in the gut, and it literally causes bacteria and viruses and pathogens to begin to leak out of the gut and causes chronic inflammation in the body. Oh my goodness. So there's this chronic inflammatory response that happens when we emotionally repress and we emotionally suppress. We become anxious. We become very nervous. We don't give voice to what we're experiencing. So we're nervous if we're going to be put on the spot in terms of feeling a certain way. We might even become depressed or have a depressed mood because we're suppressing and repressing what we're feeling. When we're depressed or anxious, what happens? We then have muscle tension as a result. We may even experience pain in our muscles, pain in our joints because of the chronic inflammation that's taking place in the body. Because of this autoimmune response that we're just generating in our body, we're coming against the natural order of what has been in place. We may feel nauseous. We may have appetite changes. Remember, the emotion center in our brain is also the center where our appetite lies, that hypothalamus. So if we're feeling emotionally distraught and we're suppressing and repressing, our appetite may go in the opposite direction. We may find ourselves overeating, undereating. We're fatigued. We're spending all day long suppressing and repressing what we're feeling. So we become fatigued. We have sleep problems. Maybe we've tried to engage in some diversional activities throughout the day because we've been suppressing and repressing. So we engage in other activities to distract us. But right when we're getting ready to go to sleep, that's when all that suppression and repression comes back up. Now we have difficulty sleeping. We're not reaching that REM sleep that we need in order to have some good dreams. We're not reaching that REM sleep in order to get that restorative rest that we need. So we're not feeling weak or tired when we wake up. We should feel refreshed. It can also lead to high blood pressure when we repress and we suppress our emotion. We're holding on to those things. So it's now increasing the pressure in our heart. It's increasing the pressure and even the vessels that feed our heart. And that can lead to cardiovascular disease as well. We may become more forgetful. Why? We're keeping all this on us. We're keeping all this information, emotions on us, in us. We become forgetful. Listen, the brain does not need cognitive overload. It becomes cognitively overloaded. So naturally, what happens when you're overloaded? You start breaking things down. You start letting things go that are seemingly not important. Maybe important to you, but the brain is just doing what it needs to do to create that homeostatic environment where it's not overloaded. So then you begin to forget things. It can cause neuronal damage. So nerves or the brain cells in our brain can start to become damaged. They are not firing the way that they should be firing from one neuron to the next to get a clean or clear pathway in our brain. And we may feel distressed. We may become irritable as a result of suppressing it. It's almost as if you become upset, irritable, distressed, and just because you're not being the true, authentic self. Can we say that this segment was really, really, really good about emotionally suppressing and repressing our emotions and not really giving weight or volume or voice to it? Let's experience that liberty of giving volume to our voice. Let's get back in line with the natural order of our being, our whole being, so that we can truly prosper and be in good health the way that we should. We know today that we have the choice today between life and death, blessings and curses. I call on all of heaven to witness the decision that you and I make today. Oh, that we would choose life so that not only we would live, but our descendants would live as well. Everyone be blessed. Let's make sure to give voice to those emotions. Let's make sure to even be consistent with our journey as we detox our souls so our souls can prosper, be in good health, and our physical bodies can also prosper and can also be in good health. Of course, you have questions, comments, put them here. Let's encourage each other in this lifestyle because it's a lifestyle. It's all about the culture of health, wellness, and healing for you and the entire family. I pray that you are blessed today. As always, I'll see you here again, 9 a.m. on the Apostles House page, the Kingdom Health Connections page on Facebook, as well as the Kingdom Health Connections YouTube page as well. I will see you here again, 9 a.m. Tuesday. Bye-bye. Be blessed, everyone.